Hey guys, my name's Ben Howard, and today we're going to be doing something a little different for my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be comparing two different putting putters using Perfect Putt 360. If you haven't heard of Perfect Putt 360, I've got a previous video where I basically explain all the rules, so if you want to go back and watch that, it'd be good, but I'll make sure to put the rules up on the screen. But the putters we're going to be looking at are going to be the Genesis and the Waymaker from Goliath Discs. The Genesis has been my main putting putter for about 6 months now, I believe. I really like it because it's got a nice low profile, pretty straight, really glidey. And I'm looking at the Waymaker mainly because if you've seen my last video, which is the skins match, I actually left my bag at home, so I had to use these as my putting putters for that round. And I actually putted pretty well with them. They're a lot more overstable than the Genesis and don't quite have as much glide, but it didn't really affect me too much. It kind of helped me in my mental game actually, because it was like I was having to actually think through my putts instead of like, just with these I can just line it up, fire it straight at the chains, whereas this one I'm gonna either aim it out a little farther right, you have a little bit more height, and actually having to try and aim with these. So the plan for today's video, I'm gonna be doing a game of Perfect Putt 360 with both of them. I've got 3 of each putter. I'm gonna be having the Genesis go first. Yeah, that's pretty much everything, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, that's it for our round with the Genesis. I didn't putt it as well as I would have liked, but I did okay. It's actually like one of my better scores on here, even though I didn't really feel like I did that well. The main thing that really helped was that I was getting those first and last putts. And while I didn't feel that great about my putting on the 25 and 30 foot slot, ultimately I didn't do terrible. I was pretty consistent, just getting averaging 4 and 5 on both of those. So it's not too bad. I would say it's about an average round for me. So that'll be a really good way to compare these to the Waymakers and see how they feel. The one thing I'm going to be curious to see about is how well I'm going to be able to putt with the Waymakers from 30 feet. Because I do feel like with how overstable they are, I'm going to have to aim a little bit farther out to the right. And that can either hurt me because I'm either going to be aiming out too far right, or, because I'm not aiming at the basket, I could miss a little bit more. But that also could help because I'm going to be thinking more about my aiming point. So let's go ahead and get into it and see. Alright guys, that finished up around with the Waymakers. As you can probably guess, I'm definitely going to be switching to these. The weird thing is I don't really know what exactly is the main difference. The only thing I really noticed about the Waymakers is the fact that they have a little bit of a puddle top, and obviously with the bead, so it felt like a little bit bigger in my hand, and so I guess I got a little bit more spin off of it, because with it having that puddle top, I've got a place for my thumb to kind of rest, and kind of adds a little bit more drag, whereas with the Genesis, there's, you know, it's just flat on top, so there's no place for my thumb to kind of hook on. The other thing I really like about the Waymakers that I talked about in my previous video is that the bead, I don't know if you can really see it or not, but the bead is actually like super flat. So like it doesn't have that like rounded feel to it, and it doesn't really feel like it gets caught on anything. Because I've had other like beaded or deeper putters, and I liked them because they would give me more speed and more spin, but the problem was half the time they kind of get stuck in my hand, and so I'd end up pulling them a lot, which I don't have that with these. And even if I did, they have so much stability that I really can afford to aim out to the right and let these kind of fade in. And speaking of that, when I was putting from 30 feet, the only real adjustment I had to make with these was putting like not even out to like the right side chains, just a little bit off to the right side of the pole. So that's super nice to know that even though I'm putting with a really overstable putter, I'm not really having to change my aiming point too much when it comes to distance. So I'm really looking forward to switching to these. There's a lot of benefits to putting with overstable putting putters, whereas obviously with straighter and glidier ones, you're going to get easier distance, but with overstable ones, they're going to be able to fight the wind a little bit better, and they're going to give you that consistent fade, so you can be a little bit more consistent with even just outside the circle with your longer putts. So if you're interested in checking either one of these two out, Waymaker or the Genesis, if you go down, I've got a link to Goliath Discs shop, and if you use my code BenHoward10, that'll get you 10% off your order. So please go check them out, or any of their other molds. I'm really enjoying doing these putting putter style videos, so if you have any other ideas for videos I should try with this, other putting putters, like I could do like a tournament, I could do a lot of stuff with this. So if you want to see more of it, please like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments if you want to see more. But thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all have a good one.